Okay, we have a call to order for the Bartlett Economic Development Commission meeting for November 8th, 2021. Do we have a call to order, Tony? Or roll call?
Yep. You have the recording going? Yes. Joy? Okay. Jerry Cabasco.
Here.
Kirsten Erickson is not here tonight. Robert Perry.
Here.
Tracy Smadilla, also not here. Nanette Gutenkopf. Joe Laporte. Here. Adam Lewinsky, absent. Michelle Hughes, absent. Robert Gorski.
Here.
Great, thank you. We have 5 people. We made quorum. Thank you for coming.
Next agenda item would be the approval of the September 13th, 2021 meeting minutes. Do we have any discussion on the previous month's agenda or minutes? If not, do we have a motion to approve?
So,
Motion to approve.
just so I can understand, the reason why we tabled this is because there were some inconsistencies, and they're still there. Were they supposed to be changed? I'm just trying to understand.
Let me, so we made the change. Let me just,
So, for example, in point number 3, approval of minutes, the ayes were Gorski and Smodilla, and then the abstains, Gorski and Smodilla, they're still there. So I thought that was supposed to be corrected, and that's why we're going to go back and look at it again.
You're right.
I think what happened was, we grabbed, it might have just been grabbed, we did make those changes.
Okay?
I can pull them up on the screen. I have, on the folder real quick.
Yeah, why don't we do it that way? Thank you.
Yeah,
Might have pulled the same minutes.
Sorry about that.
It's on the 9/13.
Yeah, modified on November 4. So
Ms.
this should
Smodilla.
reflect those changes.
Okay. I think we're talking about the September minutes, Joey. These are the 10, 11. Give us a minute to backtrack.
Sure.
We'll get the correct minutes on. These are the ones we'll take the vote on, and these are the ones we'll publish tomorrow. Abstain, Gorski, Smodilla.
Yeah, so, because, the error was on the notes we wrote down. On the notes, it said Bob, so we had that misconception. So it's changed there to Commissioner Perry. And so we must have just, these minutes must be the original ones, and this is what we changed.
All right. So looking at that, it says Gorski approves, right? And then it says Gorski abstains. So that can't be correct.
Right. In the interest of hopefully getting these approved, we've never had 2 months in a row without approved minutes. I've got them X'd out. We'll make.
So, so that has been changed here. I will make sure this is.
You have to take Smodilla off too, on the aye, because she's on the abstain.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Apologize, that was not noted in that initial recording. All the issues with Commissioner Hughes' attendance have been changed here as well.
All right?
So that should, this should be correct here.
Okay, we have our second on the motion to approve the minutes.
Excuse me, can I just have, which of these minutes are we discussing right now? Because I
September.
did have some
September.
questions. Okay.
Yeah, so these were the ones that were pulled initially, not the updated, the ones that we had updated, so that's why I pulled it up on the screen. There was just an error on the scanning of the packet.
Okay, thank you.
further discussion on the minutes? Okay, let's have a motion to approve again.
A motion to approve?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Vote unanimous.
Thank you.
Public comment? Any public comments?
We have, I beg your pardon, we do have the October minutes.
Okay, let the record show there's nobody on hand to make a public comment. Next would be a small business Saturday, 2021 discussion. Tony, you want to lead the discussion?
Yes, I just wanted to clarify the last, clarifying those minutes. We were talking about the September meeting minutes, and if you wouldn't mind, we'd like to also address and hopefully approve the October 11th meeting minutes before we kind of launch into those items.
I'd like to call a point of order on the approval of the October 11th minutes. What I'd like to do is, because there is just a modest error, I'd like to move to amend the minutes to reflect the adjournment to be 7:44 PM rather than 6:44 PM.
Thank you. Another one we didn't catch. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if you could call a second to the motion to amend the minutes as requested.
We have a motion to amend the minutes from the October meeting of
So moved.
October 11th, 2021.
So moved.
Do we have a motion to approve?
I make the motion
Just,
to approve
we've
the
got the
amended
second,
minutes.
I moved, he seconded, we can just call the vote on it. We need to move to amend first.
We need to move to amend the minutes from October 2021 meeting.
Okay,
So do
so
we-
there's a motion and a
We
second
need a
for
motion
that.
now? Motion to approve?
You have both your motion and second, sir? You already have that.
What do we need?
We just need to call the roll.
Yeah, I can call a roll for
Thank
that.
you.
Call the roll, so.
Joe Laporte. Robert Gorski.
Aye.
Nanette Gutenkauf. Abstain. Got it. Got it in my notes, abstain. Tracy Smadilla.
Yes?
Jerry Cabasco.
Yes?
And Robert Perry.
Yes.
Okay.
Second point of order at this time, since we've approved to amend the minutes from the October 11th meeting to reflect the adjournment time to 7:44 PM. At this time, I'd like to move to approve the minutes as amended.
So moved.
Do we need another motion? All in favor?
You can
call
call
the
roll
roll.
if you'd like. Perry? Commissioner Perry? I'm sorry, Chairman Cabasco, were you asking me for a roll call vote on this, on these
I
minutes?
guess we need another roll call now.
Okay. Bob Perry?
Here.
This is, okay. Jerry Cabasco?
Yep.
Tracy Smadilla?
Yes?
Nanette Gutenkauf? Joe Laporte? And Robert Gorski?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you. I think we got the two meeting minutes approved.
I'd just like to point out to the board that by taking the action to move to amend and then accept the amendment, we won't have this coming up at the next meeting. The meetings move on.
Yeah,
The minutes move on. They're out of our packets.
Are we looking for another motion?
No, just the next agenda item.
Next
I
agenda
can go
item?
into that if
I
that's
think
what
we
you'd
already
like.
went through public comments. Nobody's here to make a comment. Small business would be the next item. Small Business Saturday, 2021. Tony?
Thank you. This isn't the first time, for those of you who've been on the commission for a while, that we've talked about the importance of small businesses here in the village, as well as Small Business Saturday. Seems like Small Business Saturday has been going on forever, but it's a shopping-oriented celebration that began in 2010, sponsored by American Express. Everybody knows about Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, and everybody rushing over to malls and retailers, and these days really going online is the way my own family does it. The day after Black Friday, in other words, the Saturday following Thanksgiving, is known as Small Business Saturday. It's a very important type of shopping event, not only for Bartlett, but really nationwide. Here we're talking about the small businesses in Bartlett. The idea is to encourage people to shop small during the post-Thanksgiving weekend and support the local economies. It's not in the, I didn't put in the memo, but it's a well used factoid, if you will, that when you spend money at like a national or a regional type of chain store, the number is roughly 30 some odd cents. They say 33, 34 cents gets recirculated into the local economy. Obviously, if you're shopping at a Target or a Walmart or a Best Buy, you know, most of the profits are going to some out-of-state corporation. When you shop locally, on the other hand, just on average, it's usually about twice that. It's like a 66, 68 cents recirculating in terms of paying landlords and local people who work for the businesses. So you can see it's a big difference between shopping at a national or online. Also, I should mention that last line here. We don't have a ton of retail type of uses in Bartlett. There are some, but we also include things like local restaurants with Small Business Saturday. It's really geared towards shopping. So rather than personal services, we don't really include your medical uses, your financial, your real estate and insurance people in this. So I already mentioned, unlike a lot of the neighboring communities, you know, if you look at a Schaumburg or a Bloomingdale, a lot of these communities have a lot of big box stores, or Streamwood along Barrington Road, Costco's and Myers and Walmarts and things like that, local malls. And again, we don't really have that. This isn't to focus on what we don't have, but to focus more on the importance that what we do have is a heck of a lot of small mom and pop businesses. And I think it's safe to say that every beta applicant you've seen so far, from Indian Express all the way to Holterhoff's last month, are all small, family-owned businesses and epitomize it. I should mention that this is about the 6th year, I think, that I've applied to receive promotional items. I don't think I've almost ever had it at the point where we meet on the second Monday. You never really receive any communications if you're approved for it. They just kind of show up in boxes. So I mention that because over the years, they've sent us a heck of a lot of tote bags. They used to send us 200 tote bags a year. Last year, it was down to 50, just so you know. Even American Express is cutting back a little bit. Things like buttons to pass out. Used to have placemat or doormats, banners, all kinds of different things. And as soon as we get them, assuming we do, typically it used to be just myself, and now it's Joey and myself. We'll go divide and conquer, try to divide them up equitably. We're always going to bring them to Banbury Fair and the bike shop and the shops, little shops on Oak. and some of the independent restaurants throughout town. So that's who we distribute these items to, assuming we get them. And the sooner we get them, the better. We ask people to display them, and they do. In Bartlett, again, we encourage small businesses to participate on their own. This isn't all just a village or Chamber of Commerce driven type of event, although the village and the chamber are the two entities that push it the most. But we encourage all the stores, if they can, to come up with some kind of promotion. And if you've shopped on Small Business Saturday in town over the past 7 or 8 years, you've noticed that some of them really buy into it a lot. I can't think of anybody who buys into it more than the Book Lady store over there on Oak by the coin shop. Banbury Fair always does something. So we didn't include that in the packet either, but Joey sent out an email blast. We talk here occasionally about the email blast system that we utilize in the village. As long as a business owner will provide their email address to them, we send them out frequently. We break them up, as I've mentioned before. We can send them to just DuPage County businesses, just Cook, just restaurants sometimes when different regulations or grants or whatnot are approved for restaurants. So we sent this one out, I believe, Joey, to everybody. We have almost all small businesses, so even though it went also to the Jewel and the Home Depot and guys like that who don't really participate, everybody in the village has been apprised of this and offered the chance to participate. So again, what we do here, multiple posts on our social media, Instagram, website. If you recall, we would show videos here of different business spotlights that we did. We really did a lot of them in 2019. Last year, the program essentially got halted throughout the pandemic. We weren't really shooting live videos. And we haven't done as many as we'd like this year. But pleased to tell you, Joey and I went out and did 4 of them on Friday. So we're putting together a Small Business Saturday video. We have a few more people who've contacted us. It's just not always easy to synchronize everybody's schedules, but you'll be seeing that on our social media. And my last paragraph, I say every year, we strongly request for you to share them on your own social media. If the 6 of you here today share it and somebody on your own network shares it again, I have a great example of that is, and Commissioner Laporte was there last Tuesday, the Dog Father Hot Dogs, Tony Pissarro, Nan was there, the chamber was supporting it, got admitted into the Vienna Beef Hall of Fame. Quite an accomplishment with some pretty good company, including Portillo's. And that's a post that I put on the Discover Bartlett page, and it got shared quite a few times. So I can't tell you the exact amount, but I think there's about 6,500 people or so who follow Discover Bartlett, but the analytics for Facebook told me it was viewed over 15,000 times. So just by first one that I ever posted, that's what's happening in Bartlett, shared it, and some of the social media influencers in town, if you will, shared it, and we're asking you all, whether it's LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest or whatever your preferred social media is, this is one time a year we sit here and we ask you, please share it when we post it. And I think that's actually it. I think I covered it pretty quickly. But I just wanted to reiterate that Bartlett is filled with small businesses. We have over 400 licensed businesses in the town. And then really it's easier to say which businesses aren't considered small businesses than which ones are. Of course, the big businesses in Brewster Creek Business Park aren't open for shopping. You can't walk into Greco and Sons. You can't walk into ITW on Small Business Saturday and buy their products. But we're really looking for people to go to the bike shop, to the small shops on, when I say the small shops on Oak, there's 3 small retailers right in that building. There's the Book Lady's Attic, there's Little Shop on Oak, which is a dress shop, and you all know the coin shop. I think it's been there for about 50 years or so. And also keep in mind the shops at Banbury Fair. It's not just the business Banbury Fair that's been there for 37 or 38 years. There's all those small businesses inside of it, like the coffee shop. And also, on the way here, I wanted to mention, just driving by streets of Bartlett at night, what a difference it was than 2 years ago. The place is lit up. The parking lot's mostly full. And I wanted to also mention that some of the businesses that I and a lot of people have always thought of, not necessarily small business, like a national, like a Subway or an Armanetti's that's part of a chain or something like that. A lot of these owners they're franchisees, and that's maybe their one franchise. Or maybe some of them, like the Armanetti's operator, has 2. He has one here and one Roselle. So they're really, even though it's part of a chain that's been around for decades throughout the Chicago area and Subway throughout the country, they really are small businesses as well. They're small family-run businesses. So with that, I turn it over to you for comments, questions, or suggestions.
So certainly the Small Business Saturday program that was initiated by American Express probably 20 years ago or more.
2010, right.
I don't know why I'm getting that feedback. No, that's off. That one, maybe. Anyway, let's,
Another try.
I'll sit back a little bit. So I'm reflecting upon what the village did to support small businesses, particularly during the onset of COVID, by putting up banners that declared that those businesses were open. Is there any consideration of doing similar bannering for Shop Small during the holiday period? Maybe Shop Small, Dine Small? To
Yeah.
encourage, again, people really patronizing those small shops on Main Street.
That's right. I remember you mentioned that last year. That's something, we don't have any of our own signs made up. American Express in the past would send us, well, I was going to say a banner. I can't remember if they used to send 2, perhaps. Some of the larger ones, too. I don't mean just, I mean like a
Sure.
15 or 16 foot wide that we used to have Public Works put up in Town Center, if you recall. You would come around the corner and you'd see it. We haven't had our own signs made up for it. They would be tight now. We could.
Well, even if the village could come up with artwork and distribute that to all of the businesses, that they could even print off their own 11 by 17.
That's a great idea.
8.5 by 12s, and if you put even that in your door, but I think that if there was a continuity campaign across the village showing that, again, we're all coming together as a village and as, retailers and restaurateurs in the village, again, to kind of remind the public that, this day is coming up. It's the advent of obviously the holiday shopping season. I think that's just another gentle reminder to folks, especially as we're starting to come out a little bit more successfully out of, the COVID pandemic, but now there's a lot of consideration as to what supply chain disruption might look like for people.
We also did work on a specific Bartlett Shop Small logo that was included in the email blast we sent out. So
Okay.
yeah, we have that artwork where we can absolutely, send that out.
Could you
Yeah,
forward,
well-
you forward that to us?
I believe most EDC commissioners we did put everybody's emails on this email blast, so if you aren't getting those,
Yeah, I
let me
don't remember getting that.
let me know and give me an email address that we can make sure we get it subscribed and
Yeah,
I do
yeah.
believe that we, at one point, imported everybody in, so they should be there.
Yeah, and that specifically, I didn't receive that. I got information on the Cocoa Crawl and certainly part of the Mary and Bright campaign, but that would be great, particularly as we start to put our own personal stamp on promoting shopping small during the holiday season. I think to have something that looks like it's, again, coming out of a continuity.
Yeah, we made, it's specifically like the size of an Instagram post too, so that, individual businesses could be able to share it and.
Great. Excellent, thank you.
I'd like to add, if, when the Discover Bartlett stuff comes out, maybe October, November, December, just a suggestion to people to purchase gift cards, or a reminder to.
Reminder, that's a
cards.
good way to,
Yeah.
yeah.
Support small business, reminder to support small business by gift cards, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that would be another good one to push. We're really gonna take both of your comments and not just leave it at like one or two emails, but maybe multiple, including those that do gift cards. That's always a good stocking stuffer or whatnot. A lot of the businesses will do some type of bonus on it. I know I always mention it every year, TLs, because I've bought that before, where if you buy $100 worth, he'll give you another $20. And we encourage businesses to try to come up with some creative things like that as well. So I think we could definitely do another, like you said, couple email blasts to the businesses, and also put on Discover Bartlett, like you said. I think last year we came up with a list of who had the gift cards, and I think we had something like that on our website. Joey might remember that better than I do.
Then I did talk to Peggy this weekend, kind of mentioned the idea of Bartlett gift cards, and maybe she could host a display rack in her facility if other Bartlett businesses wanted to put their gift cards in there. Again, I don't know how that would be policed or funded or how that would work, but she was at least open to any concepts that we might come up with, so that the Village of Bartlett residents, if they wanted to purchase Bartlett gift cards from one location, she was open to discussing that,
That's great.
as opposed to Jewel, where I
Yeah.
guess we can't.
She's, Hares and Midway Lanes, that's a great example. And also, that's one of the videos that we shot Friday afternoon. And really, business owners that kind of embody that same spirit that I was talking about with Tony Passaro, where they really support a lot of local events and organizations, and that's good to hear somebody would be willing to do that.
What about having somebody come out, like having a feature to show the people to come out and, let's say, meet Mickey Mouse or meet Big Bird? Something to bring the kids around, so they bring the parents around. You could have Mickey going up and down the streets at the different shops, or a Big Bird, doing the same thing. And you could put them and highlight them in front of some shops and come out and say hello.
I'm not sure if that's something the village per se would be pursuing, but it kind of leads into the next item, which is a lot of time and planning and money. That's, a lot of thought behind the Mary and Bright. This is a new thing, so thank you if you're segueing into that, because that's gonna be one of those family-friendly type of things. Might not include Mickey Mouse, but I think Joey could elaborate.
Yeah, it gets close to Mickey, I would say, too. So, as the packet says, in an effort just to kind of create a succinct brand for all of our different holiday events, we kind of took it as a lot of events that are already happening every year. Everything that the library does, everything that the chamber does, everything the village does, and putting it under one brand, that's the logo that kind of everybody worked together on to create. So we're calling it Merry and Bright. So we're taking, on the village side, what I'm going to specifically talk about, things that we've done. We've mainly looked at, kind of, three different things, two different things, enhancing the things that we already do and just kind of adding some more to it, and then really looking at, some potential new events. So to start off, everybody's pretty familiar, I would say, if you've been in Bartlett for a while, with our annual tree lighting that we do. So we kind of started there and looking at what else we could do. So in terms of, bringing some characters into town, specifically Disney characters, we got Anna and Elsa and Olaf all coming as an extra, an added bonus. And I'll just highlight some of the other new parts of the, we normally have always done Santa in the log cabin, but we'll also be doing a scenic horse-drawn carriage ride through the downtown. And that'll be, everything at the tree lighting is going to be free to residents. Rebecca's Cakes is coming out there. We're having them give out, I think they're about 500 or so cookies she'll be bringing out, and then the normal cocoa as well. And so that kind of covers all of the new events that are going on at the tree lighting, and then, everything else that was already there, the choir singing, the turning on of the tree and everything like that. The brand new event that we're doing is the Cocoa Crawl. So there's one added business from that was not listed in the packet, kind of got to us later on Friday, and that's Arts in Bartlett. They'll also be doing it. So what the Cocoa Crawl it will be is we have it's an event where residents or any people from out of town come in. They'll be purchasing tickets. Those tickets will give them a souvenir mug, a ticket sheet to go and sample different complimentary cocos at all of the different businesses. And we just looked at this as a way to bring foot traffic into all of the different businesses. We're partnering with the Chamber and the library and all of the other organizations, kind of working together. So we had a great response, I would say, 25 total businesses on the first year of the event, all volunteering to sign up and be a part of it. We'll be doing a Zoom meeting with them within a few weeks, just to really go over some of the details with the businesses specifically, and then from there on is marketing it out to residents to purchase the tickets. We were looking at the souvenir mugs came in recently, so those will be a part of it as supplies last with those. We would love it if we sold out of the mugs. That'd be a great turnout to get it started. And one other thing that's not in the packet that we also put together, meeting with our GIS team on Friday as a part, we'll be doing a business and residential holiday decoration contest, where you go onto our website, sign up there, post a picture of your home. We'll be having different categories for the awards, where the Griswold Award or the Brightest House Award, so things like that. All the voting will be online and interactive, so the residents can be going on and voting for their neighbors and joining in, and as well as the businesses are able to participate in that as well. So that kind of is just an overall summary of everything we're doing with Merry and Bright and all of the different events this year. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Well, first of all, kudos, because event marketing is really where it's going to be, especially for small communities. I know we've talked in the past about a rather grand rebranding program, but this is what you do. Because when you use the words interactive, Joey, this is it. I mean, this is not only the people that I've talked to in the community, not only are they excited about it, I mean, they got pretty jazzed about the Cocoa Crawl, but you've got all of these other ancillary events going on around the Christmas tree lighting, 3 hours of fun events, all family friendly. So really, I can't thank you enough for knocking this one out of the park, and I'm confident it's going to bring some business. But going back to what we had discussed before, Merry and Bright is your continuity campaign, and I think if something can be pulled together using that logo and attaching it to Shop Small, I mean, we are just a few points from, Bartlett becoming, It's a Wonderful Life Part 2, and I think really that's what people are looking for, and again, that this is family friendly, ties people into the community, helps support and underpin the brands, established brands and those that are up and coming. This is fantastic, and I think similar event marketing campaigns that are seasonal going forward are going to be beneficial. So thanks again for the great work.
And one other thing that I just thought of while you were, just to really tie in all the different events at the tree lighting, we'll be having, because that's an already well-attended event. The folks over at the library are also working on a nice brochure that just highlights every single event, whether it's, Santa being at Villa Olivia or everything the Park District's doing, everything the Chamber's doing, so we're tying all that in together. And I really want to say that the, Library and Chamber and everybody who has really kind of jumped onto this has also been a huge part in getting this moving.
Yeah, I've got a copy of the holiday event schedule that a tiny town in northeastern Tennessee, Greenville, Tennessee, for history buffs, you might know that it's the home of President Andrew Johnson. But anyway, again, small community, lots of mom and pop stores, very, very historic. Again, suffered with a lot of the same things that we did for a long time in bringing people in. And I mean, they have just increased foot traffic and tourist traffic into Greenville exponentially just over the last 4 or 5 years by filling up the schedule, so there was something going on every single night. So I'm going to share that with you for your planning going forward. But this is just a great start. And I do have a question about the Cocoa Crawl. How do participants receive their mugs and their maps? I went online to the Bartlett Area Chamber, and I didn't complete the sign up, but.
So they'll sign up on either online or in person, and then all the pickup will be at the library. We're gonna. I believe the details would be. I'm not 100% on this, but I believe that the last meeting I was at, opening that up to pick up around Small Business Saturday through the event. That could have changed, but I think that's what we were talking about at our last meeting.
I think so. And with the chamber being involved, is it possible to just put a small asterisk by our members?
Yeah, we were planning to do that.
I know Mary sent something.
Yeah, we already had, on the marketing, we're adding that. I just didn't have that on the packet.
All right, thank you.
Hey, Joe, can you go to the prior slide?
Go back a slide?
Yeah, thank you. It says December 3rd, and the agenda here says the 4th.
Oh,
I'm seeing things properly. Under tree lighting on the memorandum, 12.
that is a typo in here. Yeah, that is Friday the 3rd.
Okay.
Yeah, that was just a typo in the memo.
Then is that available? I mean,
This is on the village website right now.
so I can screenshot that and put it on Facebook?
Yeah, this is all already on. I pulled this directly from our website.
All right, perfect.
We're currently working on a video as well where we're, adding a lot of different imagery of everything. We got, the princesses sent us a video of how excited they are to see everybody specifically in Bartlett, so we'll be getting that out in the next week or so as well.
That's great.
Is it one, or are you going to do multiple videos, or is it just going to be the one discovered?
I think we're going to do multiple on the main, on pretty much all of them. We're doing one overall, and then we'll probably do one with the princesses, come to see the princesses, one where we say come to the carriage ride, to really hit every different aspect of the event.
Just getting back to the pickup for the mugs and the maps, you might want to indicate that on the chamber website with the direction, that's how people would get their merchandise.
Yeah, we haven't really rolled out the marketing we wanted to get past Halloween and the Pumpkin Smash weekend and then fully turn towards
Gotcha.
The holiday stuff at this point, so yeah.
Thank you.
It'll be updated.
We'll also send out reminders, and that's one of the benefits of having people sign up on the chamber site is that we'll have that information. So we'll send something out a few days before to remind them, that it's coming up on Saturday and where to pick up their mugs and the time and all the information. So
Okay,
that's a reminder.
Yeah, that's great. Just out of curiosity, and this is about the chamber, so I anticipate this to be a really popular event. Is the chamber's intention to maybe capture that information that people are providing you when they register for this, so that you might send them updates on other chamber events, or maybe invitations to consider, you know, a chamber membership?
We could, we haven't really thought about that so much, but we could do that. But, yeah, and we're also thinking we can use it for next year. We're also thinking when they sign up, of course, we'll send them a confirmation and welcome them and maybe make a suggestion if they want to invite any friends to participate as well.
Sure,
So
of course.
we'll keep in touch with them.
Excellent, great, thank you. Hey, how many mugs did you order?
I think close to 200 or so.
Tonight, I don't have too many new businesses to report on. A lot of the projects that I'm working on now are in the industrial park. And I shouldn't even say the industrial park, industrial projects, looking for locations. For those of you who were on the tour, I think that was 2 months ago, you've seen how Brewster Creek Business Park is pretty close to being built out. There's some other projects looking on the west side of town over there in the Blue Heron Business Park area. So I guess what I'm saying under new business is I would suspect there to be additional industrial development coming up in the spring. People trying to get some projects lined up. The Brewster Creek Business Park, I just presented at a meeting we had about a week and a half ago, the annual Joint Review Board meeting where we review the TIF districts. The Brewster Creek Business Park TIF ends around this time next year, the end of next year. And the way, of course, property taxes work is you pay taxes the following year. So there's 2 more years of revenues to come into the village to complete all the TIF. So I'm kind of segueing from small business back to big business and industrial. But we have some small businesses coming into town also. I can't recall if I mentioned Wingstop coming in to Brewster Creek Shopping Center, replacing where the Subway was located for lots of years. There's a new business filling the one last little vacancy at Streets of Bartlett. That was a hair salon that for the last 6 or 8 months has had individual slots available for hairstylists to rent. That's going to be, I'm forgetting the name of it this minute, but it's going to be a shop that has kind of healthy drinks like smoothies and green teas and kind of healthy snacks over there. They're coming pretty soon. So you don't often get to say that a shopping center is 100% occupancy. I'm going to knock wood. But considering where Streets of Bartlett was at the end of 2019, when you had Manny Rafidia here and the series of beta grants that he was seeking to redo that, I guess we could talk about Streets of Bartlett every meeting, but that's the last slot there is going to be leased. So a lot of food users in there, a lot of small businesses, and that should be one of the busy areas this holiday season as well. So we continue flushing out our economy here, as I say. We just need to get some of these housing projects off the ground, like Mr. Rafidia's apartment building on Site E. And really, we're all anticipating a pretty big development year in 2022. Knock wood again.
I think the name of that new store in the streets is Elevate.
That's it, Elevate. I just started following them on Instagram this week. The owner contacted me today and sent a bunch of pictures. Speaking of Discover Bartlett, she sent me 4 pictures and a little message she would like me to post. So I'm pretty excited that that's coming to Streets of Bartlett as well. And that's right, thank you. It's called Elevate. They have one other location, and that's another epitome of a small, family-run business. Nan, you might know, I think they're in Carroll Stream.
Yes, you're correct.
So I guess the last thought on that is typically
supposed to open
every
up before
February or
Christmas?
so,
Yeah, I think.
I do the economic indicators report. And by the time it gets to be this time of year, I start wondering, because I haven't looked at the stats for a while, you know, what's the vacancy rate? I think the vacancy rate, another way of saying it is the occupancy rate has improved slightly during the year, filling some of these empty slots. You know, so I'm anticipating a pretty low vacancy rate next time we take a look at it, which should be February or March, the next time I can get all the statistics that I gather. So new business going well, filling more spaces.
It's my understanding that that Cook County is sponsoring a tax workshop for Cook County businesses later this month.
Good point, good point. The tax assessor himself, the township is bringing him in November 18th at night to speak.
Fritz Kagi.
Fritz Kagi, and that's another one of those ones, we've sent the email blast to the Cook County businesses, and thank you again for a reminder, because we need to send it again. Besides, part of the human element of our job is a lot of the people in Cook County, I'll be straight, it's Cook County businesses that call me and take great issue with the property tax bills on their commercial and industrial properties with very good reason. If you saw what some of the property tax bills are on some of the properties in town, I guarantee you'd be shocked. So the ones that have called me consistently over the years and have struggled with it the most, besides the email blast that goes on to everybody, I've sent additional emails and calls to them. Because as you all know, calling the village to air your grievances about the property tax bill isn't necessarily the best channel to go about. The village itself is roughly 9% of a property tax bill. 70 plus or minus percent is the school district. And Cook County has its own multiplier that it changes year after year. I could talk forever about property taxes, but the upshot of it is, for the people who've called me the most, I've sent it directly to them so they can go question the assessor. And I've also let them know that not everybody who comes to that meeting will be extremely happy. So I think they would assume that. It's on November 18th.
And there, I don't know, I'm sorry, I don't know if you said it, but if they strongly advise you, if you're going to protest it, that you let them know before that meeting.
Right, right. I mean, it's not the very meeting where you can file anything, but they'll have
wanna
people
know.
on hand who can take kind of a quick look at it. You're right, they've asked you to let you know beforehand, let them know beforehand,
Email them, yes.
so they can run the PIN numbers. And like I said, I could go on, because I've been looking at most commercial and industrial properties in town for 16 years. You can have a newer shopping center in DuPage County, like Bartlett Square on the south end of town, where like Piatanza's is located by the CVS, and their property taxes will be like in the $5 to $6 range per square foot, which is how commercial property owners look at their property taxes. And you can have properties in the downtown, like Main Street Plaza, 2 doors down, where the Still is located, that can be $10 or $12 a square foot. So that's how wide the discrepancy is here in town. And it's the same for industrial. Whenever we get a big industrial project, and like I said, if you get me started on property taxes, we do a Class 6B incentive for industrial properties in Cook County, or nobody in the world would build anything there. They would build, I always say they would build in another town, like a more inner ring town where they might have to be, like closer to the airport. But when you come into one of the communities that's bordering other counties, nobody wants to pay $1 million property tax bill on one side of the street when they could pay $500,000 property tax on the other side. So, and that's literally how dramatic it is. When McKesson got their Class 6B, it saves them over $1 million per year in property taxes. They wouldn't have come to town without it. So I'm kind of passionate about that issue because it's been a big impact, and it is a big impact for the downtown small business owners and small property owners as well. And if any of you have taken a look at commercial property taxes in Cook County and other counties, you'll know what I mean.
Well, I do remember at a meeting several years ago, the gentleman who owns the coin shop and that complex.
Good friend of mine, Mr.
business,
Zimick, yep.
He was paying about $34,000 a year
Yeah,
in property taxes for his little compound of shops there.
It got even higher than that.
I'm not surprised.
What happened when the new assessor came in, he had kind of a plan when he ran to try to do something about commercial property taxes, particularly in the north and northwest suburbs. And a lot of the property taxes in Cook County throughout the northwest suburbs, including Bartlett, went up by 30%. Some of them went up as high as 50%. Mr. Zimick's happens to be one of the buildings I've discussed at great length with him, and it did get over $40,000 for that building. But he's been very successful in appealing it to the point where he's one of the property owners I call to get the firm that he uses to appeal it, to give it to other people who've called me. There's a few firms that specialize, that's all they do is property tax appeals. So yeah, that's a good point. The 18th is and if any of you happen to be out and about, and it's not something business or property owner might bring up in casual conversation, but if you're friends of any commercial or industrial property owners around here, you probably should let them know about that.
Well, I think would be interested for any resident of Cook County, whether they're a residential or commercial property owner, to attend that, even just to listen to what Assessor Kagi is going to say about this.
Yeah, I will check, but I think this one might be specific to businesses. I'm not
I
positive.
think so.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, they emailed right to me when they scheduled it and asked if we could share it with our Cook County businesses only.
Yeah, I just talked to him recently, and it is.
Yeah. But with all that said, like I said, I could talk about taxes all night here. I give them credit for coming out and presenting this information. Sometimes that's helpful. Some people don't know how to, might not know how to appeal. So it's informational. And like I said, I hope that it helps some business or property owner in Bartlett reduce their tax burden somehow. Well, that's for the whole complex. Yeah, he's got, I think, 4 other tenants in there. The Learning Door. There's a new haircut place in there, too, where VIP Barber had moved out earlier this year. There's a new barber shop in there just in October. So it's filled.
Yeah, the tax problems with Cook County, it's all the way down to Melrose Park. The business has been there for 40, 50 years, and they got their tax bill, $60,000. And they appealed it, and they says the next tax bill they're going to get is going to be $100,000.
Yeah,
So they are out of business.
it's a county-wide issue. The rates vary from town to town. I can tell you that when I speak about it with my economic development colleagues in other communities, it's a big challenge across all these communities. I just always say we're special, like Hanover Park, like Barrington, like some towns that span other counties, I think it can be a greater challenge. Because, you know, I've had the experience of meeting with industrial building owners on Devon. As you all know, Devon, on one side of the street is Cook and the other side is DuPage. And Bartlett's original industrial area was that little strip along Devon between the downtown and Barrington Road. And those people have all told me if I was just on the other side of the street, and a lot of them have property taxes like what you're talking about, 100, you know, it's based on square footage. But I can tell you there's some fast food restaurants in this area that have six-figure property tax bills. And one of them closed in Hanover Park over the property tax bill. So it's a big challenge. And one last thing, sorry. It's one of the things that has helped attract more business to Brewster Creek Business Park. A lot of the businesses that are in the DuPage County portion there used to be located in some of those older industrial areas like Des Plaines, Melrose Park, Schaumburg. They've moved out of those Cook County older business parks to come out there and do a build to suit. That's not all of them, but there's a pretty good percentage of businesses out there that have done that to go into DuPage County.
I move to adjourn.
I'll second.
Aye.
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 Thank you.